GameStop triggered circuit breakers today over at the German stock exchange, halting the stock for 5 minutes. GameStop net premiums hit a new high today. We saw a $92 million dark pool order come in on GameStop close to open, and then net premiums as well as the stock exploded to the upside as people quote unquote followed this trade. Was this trade roaring kitty? Very possible. We saw a dark pool trade at $19.70 a share for 4.67 million shares, coming out to $92 million over on GameStop. Following this trade, you saw buyers end up stepping in, probably in anticipation, watching to see when this whale was going to jump back in, aka potentially roaring kitty. You also saw retail buying afterwards as well, and now the hype train is kicked in. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. Make sure to like the video, guys. That's all I'm going to ask you. It is free. Let's continue the video. So many calls expiring out of the money this week on AMC. 355,000 call contracts expiring out of the money. All that premium going to market makers. Guys, if you are playing options, before we get into the charts, make sure to get far out expiration. Not only so theta doesn't kill you, but so you don't hand money to market makers. Because you have to remember, the same people writing out these contracts for you are the same ones shorting this stock. So be very, very careful for this. Overall, we are also losing on the options chain. Almost 40,000 puts expiring in the money compared to 31,000 calls. GameStop, 50,000 calls expiring out of the money. Premium going to market makers again, losing on the options chain. 8,000 puts compared to 2,000 calls expiring in the money. Not much happening on the short exempts for either of these plays. Still there, higher than other plays, but not higher than their daily average. Pretty low. Okay, jumping into GameStop's chart. Short exempts for today will probably be high, seeing that the stock is popping off, currently up 8%, back up to 21 bucks. You literally cannot make this up. In yesterday's video, I said, guys, you gotta relax. GameStop's in a downtrend. You know, people are freaking out. This is what GameStop does. It comes down, and then when no one's ready, it springs straight up. I literally talked about that yesterday. I can plug the clip in. People are losing faith because of the current trend we have been in, but you have to remember what GameStop does. It does not care where it's at, and it can pop at any given time. All of a sudden, GameStop, sudden move up. Same thing right here. Oh, we're crashing. We're falling. You saw it back here, spring up, right? You saw it back here, GameStop's over, spring straight up. GameStop doesn't need some sort of perfect pattern to show you that it's going to spring higher. Although it did reject off of this channel, come to the bottom of it, retest the bottom of it again, right? Test the top of it, and then back down to the bottom right here, okay? Meaning you have more upside from here on out to come test the top of the channel at $23.50. That is going to be the top of this channel. Will you then get a breakout, or will you then get a retest of the bottom of the channel back down to $20? Well, that's something that we have to find out. But based on cycles, we knew the beginning part of this part of the cycle played out inverse, where GameStop was supposed to see this pop, and instead it sold off. And now you kind of had this cluster trade before a move up that you were supposed to have, and that actually did play out. You had this cluster trade right here that actually did move to the upside. Where is it going to go? It's a little bit hard to say since this part played out inverse and this part didn't, right? They could have played this one inverse. You know, we saw they dropped an astronomical amount of short exempts on it in order to have the second pop less of a height, right? Not all the way up to $37 or whatever it was supposed to be. So with that being said, maybe this next pop only brings us up to $23.50, and that's where it caps out at. That's a very well possibility. That wouldn't be where the whole squeeze necessarily pops out at, because this plan, this flag right here, is too short in my opinion. Roaring Kitty has a plan here. We saw the emojis, we saw his memes, everything correlated. We saw the times he tweeted, the time he went live, what he said to us, and this is just not the full movie, but this is what we're looking at right now for the charts, and enjoy the momentum as we got it. As far as AMC goes, curling to the downside, basically flat on the day. This thing, believe it or not, played out the same pattern as GameStop in the 1 minute chart, but much smaller degree, basically sideways. So they're both programmed on the same algorithm, but AMC, they basically said this one really needs to be compacted and kept down, right? I think they're insanely short, both of these plays, but they are very short. AMC. Overall, we are here on this part of the cycle, so AMC should see this pop alongside GameStop, and it actually should be a lot larger than we see for GameStops. AMC should push us up to at least 585 in my opinion, if we get that pop right here, and then scale down and then squeeze higher. Overall, if we don't see the initial pop, the initial rally, the initial squeeze straight up, we knew AMC's was going to last a little longer. That should start early October, right? You're supposed to play out this blue cycle where you get a nice pop up and you come up to around 631, maybe 780, you scale back down, and then you squeeze into early October. Well, if we don't get that, whatever wants to happen until then, even if we flush or whatever happens, we still should see that nasty move early October. And overall, that's something I'm watching. And then at that point, I mean, the people making up these scenarios that they see a cat in the charts, that would definitely happen with AMC, right? At that point, if we did see that, this jump fail and then the run up in October actually play out. Also, Chewy announces a $500 million Class A stock offering and a $300 million share repurchase plan. Interesting, Chewy is down 5%. This thing has been basically playing out inverse GameStop, which is pretty odd. Overall, got rejected at the top of the wedge. Not much to say here. Chewy could very well come down to about $27.80, but ultimately I'd watch for a bounce at 28, so 27.50 to 28. That's going to bring us back to retest 29.85, and will we get a head and shoulders there and break below this channel? Maybe. Or will it bring us to the top of the channel for another retest of a breakout right around $33.80, and then we move higher right up to 42 bucks. These are the two scenarios that we have with Chewy. Obviously, there's still a lot of eyes on it, a lot of volume, and this thing's probably not prepared to be as held down as AMC or GameStop is. Also, keep an eye on Nokia, ticker symbol NOK, pushing up against resistance here. The only reason I say this is because this range between 425 and 450, Nokia likes to move very fast or not move at all through this range. In other words, just straight up gap to 450. This is just what Nokia likes to do. You saw it time and time again. First of all, we moved very fast to the top of the range recently in early September. Back here, gap. Back here, gap, back here, right? It just, this range, gap back here, this range moves very, very fast. So what could this mean if Nokia actually does get the momentum it needs to break through this resistance level? Well, from where we're trading at right now, it could just be a very, very quick 7% move. Again, nothing insane, but we saw what Nokia can do, so keep an eye on it, right? Because last time it pushed at the same level up resistance, that same day it went up 130%. So just don't sleep on this. Don't act like it's nothing. Okay. Moving on, the S&P 500 is now up 39% from its October 27, 2023 bottom, meaning the S&P 500 has added $13 trillion of market cap in under a year, which is an average of $58 billion in market cap added per trading day for the last 224 trading days in a row, which is also 4 times the annual return of the S&P 500. We are witnessing history, and in fact, we are witnessing history about to see a collapse. Historically, the S&P 500 will collapse probably late October based on the Fed's cutting cycle. It's not here yet, however. This is the bars pattern from the previous time. The SPY had a very, very similar pattern where it double topped and then rallied. And you can see you got this spike up and then it comes down and kind of just hugs this channel, but has a gradual incline for quite a while. This would actually last out till December 5th, which would hold up a little bit after election. Actually, coincidentally, perfect timing, right? This doesn't have to happen. It doesn't have to play out this long. We could crash late October. We could crash early November. But late October, early December is the time frame I'd watch. So November may or may not be an ugly month. That's something that we're watching. Bitcoin, however, let's talk about it. BlackRock reveals it's quietly preparing for a $35 trillion Federal Reserve dollar crisis with Bitcoin, predicted to spark a sudden boom. Michael Saylor MicroStrategy raises $1 billion to purchase more Bitcoin. Bitcoin is trading at 62,900, pushed up against resistance at 64K. This is one of the levels we called out, but not quite at the top of this channel. We need a break and close close above 64 to bring us to 66.5, then to 69 before we can go push all-time highs. Okay, as of right now, very harsh resistance level. You saw it get a hard rejection back here and come all the way to the bottom of the channel, which would not be good for Bitcoin. That would bring us back down to 52. I don't think that will be the case. I think Bitcoin is still remaining strong and crypto as a whole is looking pretty good. Overall, guys, that is what I got for you for today's video. If you're not subscribed to the channel yet, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We are nearing 30,000 subs, and the people that come day in and day out and don't subscribe, I don't really know why. Also, if you're not in the Discord, join the Discord. It's a coffee a month. It's the third link in the description of the video. We have options trading alerts in there. We talk stocks. I post my trades as soon as I take them. We also talk crypto, and I added a bunch of new channels that we are debating on keeping. Okay, I just want to put that out there. They may or may not be there when you stay in the Discord for more than a week, but Discord is very worth it. So get in. Your grandfathered in at the price you join, so if it does go up, you are in safe with your spot and you can enjoy the benefits. Also, the second link in the description of the video, and you're going to need this because I'm actually doing a small account challenge pretty soon. It's going to be a 3K to 10K challenge. I was planning on doing this with Moomoo using their platform, and that's likely what I will be doing. But if you use my link, open a Moomoo account. This is all free, by the way. Make a deposit into your account. Even if it's $1, you're going to earn up to 15 free stocks, as well as 8.1% APY on your uninvested cash. Level 2 order book data for free, access to trading options, going long, going short, viewing other exchanges, and more as a retail trader. So go do that, guys. That is the second link in the description and pinned in the top of comments. For those who didn't deposit, make sure to go deposit into your Moomoo account. The top link is for my custom indicator where you can get 2 weeks for free, pattern detection and forecasting. That is it, guys. I love you all. Lottery Stocks out.